And I'm headed to Costa Rica. Very excited, and I just wanted to show you how I've packed for this adventure. Basically, all of my clothes are right here. This is a waterproof Sea to Summit event bag, event fabric, and what this does is this allows you to compress all your clothing, and it lets the air escape, but the fabric doesn't allow water in, so it lets all the air compress out. You could literally squeeze all the air out by pulling these straps, and that allows all the air to get out, but doesn't allow any water in. So it's a really great way to keep your clothing waterproof and compact. Here I have a scuba mask, and keep it in its original protective case. I also have a pen here that comes in handy as a tool, perhaps, if needed. Here I have a set of binoculars for bird watching or spotting animals, things like that in the rainforest. And here we have two headlamps that are useful if you're walking at night or if you go into a cave or something and you need to both hold the flashlight in your hand and have a headlamp on your head for better visibility. Here I have a microfiber towel, which is much more convenient than packing a big bulky regular beach towel, and it holds a lot of moisture for its weight, so you're able to get the effectiveness of a towel as far as drying off without having to fill up your suitcase with too much space. Okay, now I have a couple of knives that I'm going to take with me. Obviously, you need to check these in. You cannot carry them on as per the regulations. And I have 3 different knives. I chose to take these knives because of the usability. This knife could easily go on your belt. If you're in the ocean, you could have it on your belt if you want to, cut some seaweed, or if you want to kill a crab, or cut a string if you get caught on it. This is a diving knife because it doesn't have a pointy edge. It had actually a flat edge. I made it a little sharp on the edge just to be useful, but it's a pretty helpful knife actually. This knife goes on your leg, and it straps on basically with these buckles, and is very helpful if you're diving. And basically it's a double-edged stainless steel blade. One side has grooves and is serrated, and the other side is flat. So basically you can stab a fish or get in a crack if you need to break off a piece of rock. If, let's say, your harpoon is stuck in the rock, it's a very helpful knife and fairly durable. The third knife I have is basically a masterpiece of a knife. It is the SOG SEAL Team knife, and it comes in a Kydex sheath, and it has a coating of titanium nitrate, which basically helps it retain its durability, and it just prevents corrosion. You could leave this knife in the ocean for months and it would come out looking the same. It's, believe it or not, a very handy knife in terms of dexterity and just the balance and the usage. It feels very light. It looks bigger than it actually is, but it's a very, very thick knife. If you look at the back, you could see that a knife like this in a survival situation could literally save your life, because you could use it to pry something as a lever to have leverage, because with this type of thickness of the blade, even if the tip of the blade breaks, you're not breaking the rest of this part. And even if the knife gets dull, considering the thickness, you could always resharpen it. And then the bottom portion of the blade of the metal actually protrudes the handle, which you could use to either break something or nail something or hit whatever. So basically, that is the SEAL team, and it goes in this sheath. And you could basically put this on your belt when you're hiking in the jungle or the rainforest. Alright. Okay, I know this seems strange, but since the new regulations prevent you from carrying water, bottled water, unless you buy those small $4 bottles of water at the airports, I actually pack alkaline water. This water has a pH of 9, so it's 100 times more alkaline than regular water that has a neutral pH, and that's really helpful because it has an abundance of negatively charged hydrogen ions. For those of you who forgot about chemistry from school, those excess hydrogen ions help reduce and scavenge free radicals in the body. It's like an antioxidant water. It has extra oxygen. So this is going to be really helpful the first couple of days as you get used to the water in wherever you're traveling, because there's foreign bacteria, and that's another reason why to take acidophilus, which I am also going to be packing. In this case, I have some insect repellents that I'm going to be taking with me and applying liberally, depending on how bad it gets. For the most part, I'm going to try not to use DEET because it's just a terrible chemical. Burt's Bees makes a really good herbal insect repellent, and the ingredients are just a bunch of essential oils like rosemary, lemongrass, peppermint oil, citronella oil, clove and germanium oil, and castor oil. So this stuff is natural, no synthetic chemicals or anything, and you just spray it on yourself and rub it in. It's like an oil, and so that's going to be one of my insect repellents to keep the mosquitoes away and other bugs. This is another company. It's called Badger's, one of the best ones I've found, and it has similar ingredients, except this is an actual wax that you apply, as you would hair gel. You basically just take a little bit and rub it in your neck or on your fingers, wherever you're prone to have insects bite you. So these are the two insect repellents I'm going to be using, and this is an Ultrathon insect repellent, which contains DEET and other chemicals, and I'm going to use this as a last resort in case these two aren't working and it's really bad and there's hundreds and hundreds of bugs all over the place and they're all over me. So I'm going to use that worst case scenario. Okay, moving forward, we have an adventure medical kit. This is very handy. God forbid you cut yourself, you have a blister on your foot, you've been hiking for 4 hours, you have a headache, you got your Tylenol in here, Excedrin, whatever the case may be, things like that. There's many different types of medical kits, so depending on where you're going and what you think you'll need, it's always good to look at the items that are packed in each medical kit. The average kit costs anywhere from $10 to $40, so I definitely think this is essential for travel. Okay, this is the snorkel for the mask, so while you're underwater you can breathe without having to come up every 20 seconds for air. Here we have a bathing suit, and here we have more clothing. These are what I like to call functional clothing, and I'll explain why. Because, as the word describes, they have many functions. These are Columbia UV pants. They have an SPF rating of 30, and you could take off the bottom part of the leg and transform them into zippers. That's obviously very helpful because you can